imagine that you were addressing a forum of parents at a local school, and they are all opposed to corporal punishment for students. This is something the majority of the audience opposes. To avoid offending the audience or talking over their heads, public speakers need to know who they are talking to and their position on a particular topic. I've made the mistake of talking over an audience's head more than once, and I've offended more than one audience when I made a comment that was totally in opposition to how the majority of the audience felt about something. So there are 3 steps to connecting to the audience: using a questionnaire, using different types of questions, and then adapting to the audience. Now I'm going to introduce me, a chemistry major at UAlbany, to talk about using a questionnaire. Me?
Hello, I'm me. As a chemistry student, I spend most of my time in the lab, and everything is very easy to mess up. That's why I have to ask questions all the time. Asking questions is the easiest way for you to get information from your audience. It helps you to acquire specific information about your audience, and so you can tailor your speech accordingly. With a questionnaire, you may take a position averse to your audience, or even talk over their heads. For example, I can talk about hydration, fluorescence, or HPLC, and no one has an idea what I'm talking about. However, if I use questionnaire, I could change my presentation to a level appropriate to my audience. But there's something that you have to pay attention when using questionnaire. First, plan it carefully. Second, keep the question clear and focused. To do this, there are 3 types of questionnaire that you can use. Let's build a certificate financial planner. Talk to you about it.
So there are 3 different types of questions that you can use in a questionnaire to find out more about your audience. The first type is just simply a fixed alternative question, and that's basically yes or no. The second type is a scale question. So a scale question can be, for instance, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about a particular subject? And finally, there are open-ended questions. And open-ended questions are exactly that. They ask a question that is open-ended, and then you wait for a response from the audience. So you need to incorporate all 3 types of questions into your questionnaires. And here's Hurbert to talk about audience adaptation. Hurbert is a competitive retailer. Hurbert?
Being a comparative retailer, often it is necessary to adapt to your audience, or your customers in this case. Being able to adapt to your audience or your customer, you must be able to adapt to the nonverbal gestures and feedback to often win the sale or to offer them the right product of their choice. Just as with a sales experience, the main objective of a speech is to connect with your audience. And to do so effectively, you must analyze your audience and adapt to your audience. For example, suppose you're giving a speech and your audience is fully engaged. And as you began to mention long facts and boring statistics about the marriage rate in America over the last decades, you notice that your audience stopped nodding as they previously were, lose eye contact, starts to fidget in their seat, and starts talking among themselves. At this point, you have lost your audience, and you need to adapt to your audience. To do so, you can simply ask a question or restate your main point. This is a perfect way of adapting to your audience during the speech. A great way to adapt to your audience at the beginning of the speech is, as we previously learned, is by asking a question. Suppose John invites you to talk to a group of older folks in a gated community about tie-dye. Maybe it may be something that you're interested about or have no knowledge about. By using a questionnaire, you can gain knowledge on their interest level and their expertise in that area to know whether you need to tailor your speech or get some visual aids that can definitely aid in connecting with your audience. A great way also to connect to your audience at the end of the speech is being prepared for any questions. Suppose you're comparing Prezi to PowerPoint, and it is something that your audience are pretty interested in. You may need to go into the technicality of the features and the functional dimensions of Prezi versus PowerPoint. Connection is perfection. Being able to have audience connection will give you speech perfection. And you can gain this by learning about your audience in 3 simple ways. Asking a question, using a questionnaire, and adapting to your audience. You don't want to be that person that asks, have a presentation, and your audience doesn't take anything away. You don't want to be that person that prepares with sleepless nights and hours that return to be effortless. Follow these 3 steps of using a question, asking questionnaires, and adapting to your audience, and you can guarantee an awesome speech. Connection is perfection. Thank you.